6:30 in the morning. The piercing shriek of your smartphone alarm shatters the absolute silence of your bedroom. You open your eyes, but the very first sensation that washes over your body is not the crisp energy of a brand new day. It is a heavy, invisible weight pressing down on your chest. You step out of bed, initiating a meticulously programmed routine that you have executed flawlessly for thousands of days. You put on a perfectly ironed suit. You start the engine of a late model car, the interior still holding that faint, expensive leather scent. You pull up to the usual drive-through window and hand over $5 for a cup of coffee. You do not even like the taste of it that much anymore, but it is your only reliable sedative, the last fleeting moment of tiny joy before you step into a relentless marathon of endless corporate meetings. According to every single metric that society uses to measure success, you are winning. You are living the exact life you wrote down on your vision board back in college. You are making decent money. You have a title on your business card that commands a subtle nod of respect from your peers. You can pay your expensive downtown rent without checking your bank balance first. But as you sit behind the steering wheel, trapped in a gridlock of glaring red taillights heading into the suffocating financial district, you do not feel like a winner. You feel like a well-dressed prisoner locked inside a brilliantly gilded cage. Your problem is not the number sitting in your checking account. That number steadily replenishes on the 1st and 15th of every single month without fail. Your problem is the creeping, terrifying realization that you are trapped in a brutal, inescapable loop. You wake up, you sell the best, most vibrant 12 hours of your day, and in exchange, they hand you direct deposits. Then you use those very same deposits to buy expensive gadgets, lavish dinners, and weekend escapes just to medicate yourself. Just to numb the sheer exhaustion that is slowly eroding your mind. That money you are spending is not actually a lifestyle choice. It is a comfort tax. You are spending money to compensate yourself for losing control over your own existence. You have cash in the bank, but you are completely, utterly bankrupt on time. This illusion remains perfectly intact until one late Friday evening. It is your birthday. You made reservations at an exceptional downtown steakhouse 3 weeks in advance. Your coat is resting on the back of your office chair, ready to go. At 5:50 in the afternoon, an email from the regional director pops up on your screen. An urgent restructuring project. The data needs to be finalized tonight for a Monday morning partner presentation. Your heart sinks into your stomach. You pick up your phone and cancel the reservation in absolute quiet defeat. That night, sitting alone in a heavily air-conditioned, echoing office building, eating a cold takeout meal, you open your banking app. You stare at the latest payroll deposit. It is a large number, but in that exact moment, surrounded by the deafening silence of a ruined birthday, the illusion shatters. You realize the brutal truth about what you are actually trading. Your high salary is not a reward. It is a ransom. It is the price they are paying to permanently buy your youth, your health, and your absolute freedom. You push the half-eaten food aside and open a blank spreadsheet on your personal laptop. You do not call it a budget. You hate the word budget. It sounds like a financial prison cell. You type a completely different title at the top of the screen. The time vault. You begin a mathematical equation no one ever taught you in school. You tally up the absolute minimum cost to keep yourself alive and relatively comfortable for 30 days. Rent, basic groceries, utilities, basic insurance. Your core survival number is actually shockingly low. Just $1,500. You take your monthly take-home pay and divide it by the number of days you are forced to work. From the second that final number appears on the glowing screen, the neural pathways in your brain regarding money are permanently rewired. Money is no longer a tool to buy things. Currency has officially been redefined into a single profound metric: time. Every dollar you keep is a tiny piece of your life bought back from your employer. A few days later, you are standing in a brilliantly lit electronics store. In front of you is the newest phone model, priced at exactly $1,200. Your old mind would instantly say you can afford it. It is just a fraction of your paycheck, and you deserve a reward for all those late nights at the office. But your new visual system does not see $1,200. When you look at the price tag, the newly built algorithm in your head automatically converts it into the naked truth: 21 days. This phone does not cost money. It costs exactly 21 days of grueling, forced labor. It demands that you set your alarm at 6:30, brave the freezing rain, smile at people you despise, and drain your mental energy for 3 solid weeks. You ask yourself the ultimate question. Are you willing to sell 3 weeks of your irreplaceable freedom for a shiny piece of metal that will be obsolete in 12 months? For the first time in your adult life, you turn around and walk out of the store without swiping your card. That rejection happens in complete silence. Nobody notices it. But it is the loudest gunshot initiating a quiet revolution, opening an invisible, years-long era that is about to completely swallow your old life. The following morning, you do not just skip the expensive coffee shop. You start completely dismantling the entire architecture of your daily spending. You cancel monthly subscriptions you barely use but kept out of pure inertia. You start cooking your own meals, replacing the $15 sad desk salads with something you prepared the night before. You keep driving that same car, even when the lease expires and a dealership calls you with an exclusive offer for a shiny new upgrade for just a few dollars more a month. Your new mental algorithm immediately kicks in. You realize that a few dollars more is actually a legally binding contract trading away another 3 months of your future life. You politely decline the offer. By year 2, your reality looks drastically different from the outside, but not in the way society celebrates. Your coworkers get promoted and immediately show up in European luxury sedans. They invite you to lavish vacations in expensive resort towns, posting perfectly curated pictures on social media that scream success. You decline those trips too. In their eyes, you are living a rigid, boring, and completely suffocating existence. They whisper by the water cooler that you are burning out, that you are becoming a miser who does not know how to enjoy the fruits of your hard labor. What they do not see is the quiet, almost sacred ritual you perform at the end of every single month. You sit at your desk, bathed in the blue light of your laptop monitor, open the Time Vault spreadsheet, and enter a new number. By cutting out the comfort tax and ruthlessly directing 50% of your income into an automated index fund, you are not just saving money, you are stockpiling life. At the end of year 4, while your peers are drowning in car payments and credit card debt just to maintain their pristine lifestyles, you type a massive milestone into your spreadsheet. 2.5 years. You have successfully bought back 2.5 years of total freedom. If you walked into your boss's office today and quit, you would not have to answer to a single human being for 30 continuous months. But this journey is far from glamorous. This is the silent middle. These are the invisible years where the math brutally tests your psychology. There are days when the stock market dips violently, erasing months of your hard-earned contributions in a single afternoon. There are nights when you question every choice you have made. You look around your modest apartment. You look at your aging clothes, and that nagging societal voice in your head asks, what is the exact point of making all this money if I am living like I am completely broke? The temptation to break the system is overwhelming. Just one hit of dopamine. Just one luxury watch or designer jacket to prove to everyone and yourself that you are actually doing well. Yet, you hold the line. You let the automated transfers run completely devoid of emotion. You let the financial machine do its work in the dark. And then, year 7 finally arrives. It happens on a random Tuesday morning. You log into your brokerage account while eating breakfast, expecting to just do a routine check. But you notice something strange in the dividend and interest column. The numbers have compounded quietly, reinvesting themselves again and again while you were sleeping, commuting, and working. You run the calculation in your head. The passive income generated by your portfolio this year is exactly enough to cover 2 full months of your core living expenses. You stare at the glowing screen, letting the heavy weight of that reality wash over you. You did not work any extra hours for this. You did not sacrifice your sleep. You did not lift a single finger or answer a single email for this money. The cold, unfeeling financial machine you built in the dark has suddenly taken its first breath. It has autonomously manufactured 60 days of absolute freedom for you. For 2 months of every year, you are officially no longer a wage slave. The limits of your physical labor have finally been bypassed by the infinite scale of capital. You start smiling subtly during stressful corporate meetings. The intense micromanagement, the toxic office politics, the supposedly urgent deadlines, they all start to lose their grip on your nervous system. You are sitting in the room, but they no longer own you completely. However, this invisible shield has never been truly tested in the real world. It has only existed in spreadsheets and quiet mornings. That is, until a dark Thursday in October, when the walls of your company finally begin to collapse. The CEO sends a company-wide email at 8 o'clock in the morning. The subject line is cold and vague, but the message is brutally clear. A massive corporate restructuring due to unforeseen macroeconomic headwinds. 30% of the global workforce will be terminated by the end of the business day. The entire office floor instantly descends into absolute chaotic panic. It feels as if the oxygen has been violently sucked out of the room. People are openly crying in the narrow hallways. The senior co-worker who always mocked your supposedly boring lifestyle, the one who just bought a second vacation home on credit, is hyperventilating in the glass-walled break room, absolutely terrified of missing his enormous mortgage payments. Everywhere you look, you see the naked, paralyzing terror of intelligent human beings who are living entirely paycheck to paycheck, completely dependent on the very corporate machine that is currently crushing them. But as you sit at your modest desk, looking out the large floor-to-ceiling window at the gray, sprawling city below, you notice something profoundly strange happening inside your own body. Your heart rate is completely steady. Your palms are perfectly dry. You are breathing slowly and deeply. You casually open your personal laptop and bring up the Time Vault spreadsheet one last time. The number staring back at you from the bottom row is monumental. 10 full years. You have meticulously accumulated an entire decade of impenetrable financial runway. If the Human Resources Department calls your name right this very second, you could pack your belongings, walk out of this glass building, and not have to think about earning a single penny for 10 solid years. The invisible shield you built in the cold silence of the lonely middle has suddenly materialized into a physical, impenetrable fortress protecting your sanity. The power of capital is no longer just a theory, it is the quiet blood flowing through your veins. When your direct manager finally calls you into the dim conference room at 3 in the afternoon, the air is thick with tension. You do not walk in with the slumped posture of a terrified victim begging for a paycheck. You walk in with the calm, quiet, undeniable power of a human being who completely owns their own destiny. You sit down. You are not being fired. In fact, it is the exact opposite. Your manager slides a thick, newly printed contract across the mahogany table. They are offering you a major promotion, a massive title bump, and a 50% salary increase to take on the crushing workload of 3 senior colleagues who were just escorted out of the building. It is the exact moment you have been working toward since you first joined the firm. It is the ultimate societal validation, the shiny prize at the end of the corporate maze. They expect you to be extremely grateful. They expect you to sign it immediately. But you just sit there, looking at the shiny piece of paper. Then, you look up and study the exhausted dark circles under your manager's eyes. You see the immense stress, the premature aging, the invisible chains binding them to that desk. You think about the comfort tax, the stolen birthdays, the 12-hour days, and the endless loop of manufactured exhaustion. You realize that signing this paper is just selling the rest of your youth for a slightly higher premium. You gently pick up the expensive pen they offered you, and you place it back down on the table. You look your manager dead in the eye, and with a soft, peaceful smile, you politely decline the offer. You hand in your unconditional resignation instead. The following Monday morning arrives. The clock strikes 6:30, but the piercing, anxiety-inducing shriek of the smartphone alarm does not sound. The room remains an absolute golden silence. You wake up naturally at 8 o'clock as the morning sunlight hits your face. You slowly brew a fresh cup of coffee, walk out onto your balcony, and watch the endless, suffocating gridlock of glaring red tail lights heading into the financial district. You are no longer in that traffic. You are no longer running on the wheel. The machine you built in the dark has finally bought your life back. You have successfully purchased the rest of your time on this earth.